Okay, so I just want to make this video super fast. I'm gonna get straight to the point, but it's still gonna take 15 minutes. So I play baseball, and last Thursday, we had our first tournament. It was the last tournament of the season. Uh, yeah, we only play 7 innings in the tournament, and we were losing 7-6 in the bottom of the seventh. We were obviously the away team, so yeah, we had so it was 7-6, bottom of the seventh, bases loaded, no outs. We have a very good chance of winning this game. Very good chance of winning this game. And obviously, if the ball is hit on the ground, you have to run. It's a force out. You have to run because if the third baseman bobbles it, makes a bad throw, where's the guy at third gonna go? You can't have two people on the base at the same time. So the guy on third for us, our runner, he is the fastest kid on the team by far. He is super fast. We're talking like his 40-yard dash is probably like 4 seconds. He is fast. How how fast do they run in the NFL? Is it like 3? Isn't the fastest like 3 seconds 21? I forget. Whatever. Anyways, so our fastest guy is on third, and there's 0 outs, bases loaded. Uh, so the guy to bat for us, he hit it on the ground, either shortstop or third, I think. And obviously, they went home with the ball, and he has to run, so he's going home. He's like full on running home. They're throwing home to get him out of home. A lot of homes. And he, earlier in the season, against the same team, he slid at second and slid too late and either twisted or sprained or did some stuff to his ankle. He had to be helped carried off the field, and he didn't play for a couple games, so it was pretty bad. So he was running home, and you technically are supposed to slide. He didn't, and their catcher was standing on top of the plate. On top of the plate. He was not standing off to the side like you're supposed to. On top of the plate. So they throw it home. The catcher gets the tag. Our player is running, and our player picks up his leg for another stride out as he's running, and his like knee or shin, maybe even his foot, like kicked him in the somewhere. No, I'm just gonna give it all here. Somewhere from the chest to his head. Whatever. I can't remember exactly, so I'm just gonna give you that. I'm not gonna try to beat around the bush and lie. Make it sound like our player is the best, and they were completely in the wrong. But our player took another stride, and either his knee or his foot hit their catcher from like here to his head. The catcher, I don't know if he had his mask on or not. He immediately fell to the ground, like face plant into the ground, like maybe he had. No, he didn't move, and our player, he was running so fast, he like ran all the way to the fence, and went to go into the dugout. And one of the coaches for the team of the catcher, let's just call them Team A, and we're Team B. Team A, their coach, one of their assistant coaches, I believe, came out, and I believe the first thing he yelled was, I forget all the things he yelled. I remember some of them, but I forget in which order they were. So, yeah, I forget which order they were in. but I know he said these things. He said, what was that for? You are twice his size. And the thing about being twice his size, that's not his fault. That is. Catchers are technically supposed to be bigger kids. I'm not saying they have to be 400 pounds. I'm not saying they have to be 6'5", but they're bigger kids. They're not the one kid on the team that's like 4'5", 40 pounds. They're usually the bigger kids. Kids that are like 5'10", 170 pounds. Those kids. He was like right in the middle. I don't know, he was probably like 5'4", like 120, 125 pounds, something like that. Whatever. That's not our player's fault. And he yelled, their Team A's coach yelled, eject him. And the ump, we don't have the best umps in the world. We really don't. They're pretty bad. They didn't eject him at first. Then, our player's in the dugout at this point. He's pretty much sitting down, taking all of his helmet and gloves and stuff off. Team A's coach is out there, helping out their catcher, who's still laying on the ground at this point. I mean, he immediately ran out there and tried to help him up. But as he's doing this, he's yelling, you're twice his size. You shouldn't run him over. Come on, man. He should be ejected. He probably yelled some more stuff. He didn't say any cuss words. Oh, he said, what was that for? He completely jacked him up. And, yeah. And so, our players in the dugout and Team A's coach is talking to the ump. Our coaches, we have 3 coaches and another one that does the stats and all that fun stuff, math. Our coaches didn't really get involved. They didn't argue or anything, because we had our first base coach, third base coach out there because we're batting, but Team A's coach is out there talking with the umps, and our player has not been ejected. Yeah, he hasn't been ejected so far. And so they're out there talking, and out of the blue, the ump ejects our player. It doesn't make sense. So our player has to go sit in his car, and he can't play our next game because it was towards the end of the game that he got ejected. So we can't play our next game. And if we lose that game, then we're out of the tournament. If we win it, then we keep going on. We ended up losing that game, and that ended up being his last time on the field for the year. He was one of the 8th graders going on to high school, which sucks for him. His last play of middle school was getting ejected for a dumb reason. Anyways, the coach who was yelling and cutting down and just bad mouthing our player didn't get ejected. He pretty much bribed the ump to eject our player. We later were told that their player had to go to the hospital because he kept asking where he was, which means he probably had a concussion. Leave your mask on. It works. That's what it's there for. Leave your mask on and get out of the way, because our player that ran over him is probably 6 foot. He's definitely not fat. He is probably 6 foot and probably 120, 30 pounds. He's really fast. He throws really hard. But anyways, they said that their catcher had to go to the hospital. We didn't see this because he didn't go while we were there. Our team apparently went after. He's fine. Whatever. He wasn't bleeding out of the nose or anything when they picked him up off the ground. So my question is, Yeah, our player should have probably slid, but their catcher should not have been standing on the plate. I believe this is true in the MLB too. I'm like 90% sure it is. It's a rule that if you are standing in the baseline, which he was standing on home plate, maybe a little in front, maybe a little behind, whatever, then you are free game. You're a free game. You can be ran over and all that fun stuff. And so our player got ejected and he didn't. Our player didn't try to like plow into him like some MLB players do. He was just running and apparently hit his face. That's all there was to it. And so this coach really made